Alright, so Sony have released a new Venom trailer, and let's talk about the elephant in the room, the fact that they showed us a lot of extra Venom footage. Now I am actually not mad at Sony for showing us so much Venom in this trailer. With all the rumours and concerns that he would only show up towards the end of the movie with very little screen time, they needed to show us a trailer with more footage, as something was just not right anytime we heard about this film. So I am glad that they showed us more in this trailer. That being said, there is essentially no reason to see this movie anymore. First off, I am pretty certain that this trailer just showed us every single one of Venom's scenes. Secondly, Sony are doing exactly what they always do with their trailers, which is spoil the damn plot points. The scene I am referring to is this one. They are needlessly showing us scenes from the climax that we don't need to see. Instead of just showing us the symbiote that Venom goes up against, they instead show them fighting in the film's climax, and it turns out that Riz Ahmed's character is going to play him. That is something I didn't know prior to seeing this trailer, so thanks Sony for ruining this scene. And now that we know, when you get down to it, Sony is just copying the formula of all the other Marvel Cinematic Universe villains. You know, the one where the big bad guy in the end puts on the same suit as our hero. Now if it was Carnage, I wouldn't mind, as Carnage's powers are very devious and crafty, but why they went with Riot completely baffles me. Primarily because both these symbiotes are different shades of black, and differentiating the two is confusing. For all we know, both of these could have been the contenders for the final Venom design. That's how similar they look. They really should have included Carnage, because visually it would be far superior and more distinct. Or even the white symbiote, you know, just something that will allow us to easily differentiate the two during the fight. Also, I was genuinely impressed at first with this trailer. I thought Venom looked really cool. He looked like a cartoon in some scenes and his dialogue sucked, but his design, I ultimately have no problems with. Good job, Sony. But then, we see Venom next to live-action Tom Hardy, and all the problems became apparent. He doesn't blend in well with live action and is very distracting, and at some points, like right here, it's just laughable. I mean, this looks so corny. Even cartoons aren't as animated as this. Speaking of which, his dialogue ranges from cartoony to non-threatening, and then it just doesn't make sense at all.
Like a turd in the wind.
Like a turd in the wind? Who the hell says that? This line is so dumb that I have just been dropping it in conversations with my brother, and we both just laugh at it. Also, this scene has another problem. Whilst Venom is threatening to eat this guy's arms, legs, and head, the guy just stands still and then says, "What the hell are you?" What kind of person is this? A big monster with razor-sharp teeth says it's going to eat you one body part at a time, and your only response is, "What the hell are you?" The natural response would be to scream, cry, say please don't eat me, apologize to the lady and say you'd never do it again. I mean, look at the response a cartoon character from my childhood has when he thinks he's going to be eaten.
I am a monster! He wants to skin off my bones, Double D!
Now compare the reaction from a character in a kid's cartoon show to a character in a movie that was supposed to be rated R. What the hell are you? Pathetic. If the bad guy was scared like a normal human being or begged for his life and Venom still ate him, then it would show even more how unforgiving and relentless Venom is. But nope, they missed such a simple and effective trick, and it shows the lack of basic understanding. And then to end the scene, we get this dumb joke.
Oh, I have a parasite. Yeah. Name is Chan.
This just shows me that this movie is tonally inconsistent and doesn't have the balls to be what it set out to be. It's basically taking away Venom's scare factor and undermining him. It reminds me of that stupid joke in Spider-Man Homecoming where Michael Keaton shoots and disintegrates one of his thugs and then says,
"I thought this was the anti-gravity gun."
And that was one of my complaints with Spider-Man Homecoming, and Venom seems to have taken one of its flaws. Instead of fully owning the serious moment, they turn it into a joke. I just watched Mission Impossible 6 recently, and the comedy in that movie was great. It didn't undermine our characters, rather, it made for a lot of genuinely funny moments that added to their character. This is not adding to anyone's character. It's just a joke for the sake of a joke, and it's not even a funny joke. So it fails on all levels, which is surprising when you take into account that the same director for this film directed Zombieland. Also, the way the scene just cuts away tells me that this movie is not going to be rated R like Sony promised from the very beginning, so I have just lost even more interest in the movie knowing that it's going to be a lame PG-13. And that just makes Venom all talk. He can't do anything gruesome and interesting, so all he does is tell people what he's going to do. and then the film is most likely going to cut away in a typical PG-13 fashion. And that's the biggest problem with this movie. When Venom was a full-on villain, he was actually scary. That's why his adversarial relationship with Spider-Man was an ingenious idea and could be told within the confounds of a PG-13 without heading into the realms of an R rating. But since they can't do that, they should at least show us Venom completely unleashed. And a rated R film under the right hands could work as a horrifying monster movie, which is kind of how they pitched this at first. But making Venom an anti-hero and then reducing the rating to a PG-13 is just crippling this movie of all its remaining potential strengths. And it already had very little to work with in the first place. I don't usually say this, but I don't want Sony to succeed with this movie, because much like with The Amazing Spider-Man 1, which got decent reviews, that little bit of success is all it takes to get to their head. And in the second movie, they went full speed ahead and tried to forcefully set up a universe with the Sinister Six, as well as shoving in a ton of other stuff. And I can guarantee that if this film succeeds, then they are going to let that success get to their heads again, and they are going to force another cinematic universe. I never had faith in this movie when I heard that Sony were going to make it, but it had some interesting prospects to me, which, if handled correctly, would work as the film's strengths. But now, they have removed all of them and have just kept it at a boring and safe PG-13, as like I said, all Sony want is the money. They don't care about making a great product and money, they just want the money, for it to be good enough to warrant a sequel. If on the off chance this movie ends up being good, I will come out and say that I was wrong. But as is, this trailer started off strong, but when it ended, it made me even less interested in the movie. Comment below with your thoughts and let me know what you thought of this trailer and if you agree with me or disagree with me. As always, thank you very much for watching guys, and I will catch all of you next time. Take care.